and you was wearing a hat before any of them.
Well, it's not because I don't have
No,
hair.
you got hair.
They got to tell you the whole thing about it. There's so many of them.
I'm mad. I'm going to take it off.
No, you look
Put
good.
it back on, Hoss.
No.
Trust me.
A guy worked for me one time said, you know, you have Audubon hair. And I said, Audubon? He said, yeah, Audubon been on a goat's butt.
When you listen to radio, you know, here's the thing I think is funny a little bit, but I mean, they love Merle Haggard so much. A lot of those guys. A lot of them sound like him, but they don't know that they're imitating Lefty.
Exactly.
That's the deal.
Exactly.
Last time I saw Lefty Frizzell, he was sitting at my table, and he's had scrambled eggs, and he had a bottle of Tabasco, and they were just red.
Ooh.
And he was chasing that with Scotch whiskey.
Yummy. That's good.
You woke Bear up.
Yeah, I rode
I
with
hate
him.
Scotch whiskey.
I rode with him one time.
My stomach
out.
went.
This was in the early '60s, and we rode for about 3 or 4 days. And he said, Mel, he said, would you go home with me? He said, I think Alice. He said, Alice won't be so mad at me if you go home with me or something. I said, yeah, I'll go with you. And I went.
Wowie!
And I stood out in the garage until he went in, and I heard all kind of things in there. Boy, and out of the door comes a buffalo head, big old damn buffalo head, and she threw it out that door and broke the horn off. And broke the horn off of it. And he come back. He said, I don't think you better come in, Mel. So I said, oh. And he said, you can have a buffalo head. Oh, well, thank you. And I got the head, and I put it in the car, and I went home on Hill Road.
Did you pick up the horn that broke off?
No, I forgot that.
You just want to get out with your life, didn't you?
But I got to my house, and I seen coming up the driveway. It was in August, and it looked like Christmas at my house. All my old nudie suits, rhinestone suits, was up in the trees and everywhere, and they were just glistening when the headlights hit them. And I got out with that damn buffalo head. She seen me, and she took that damn buffalo head and threw it out in the yard. And it broke the other horn off. And last time I seen the buffalo head, the dogs had it, and they dragging it out through the biting. Well, that was one of my little escapades with Lefty. I loved
That's
him.
where he learned this. Mel and I were going to go fishing at Center Hill back in the late '60s.
Fishing?
Yeah, Mel was going to. We're going to leave. We're going to go at daylight, and we're going to leave. Well, about daylight, Mel showed up knocking on my door. He'd been out all night with Porter Wagner and God knows who else. And I said, we're going fishing. He said, well, let's go. And I said, fine. We packed up. And he said, well, let's go by my house and make our peace first. And I said, our peace? He said, yeah, it's right on the way. I said, she's not mad at me, Mel. She's mad at you. But we did. We went by his house on the way to Center Hill and made our peace.
You couldn't get in that much trouble anymore, could you, Mel? You've just calmed down.
I can still manage to get in a little trouble, but I don't. You know,
All you need to do is show up.
It used to seem like he was making a conscious effort to see how much of a jam can I get in and get out of it.
Well, he just recorded a song called I'm Not Too Old to Cut the Mustard, Just Too Tired to Spread It Around.
That's the truth.
Now I'd say that's poignant.
Yeah, that's poignant.
That hit me right between the eyes, I guarantee you.
That thing, young man's job. That's cuter than a bug.
Well, he wants you to do that mustard thing.
Do it there.
I
Was
sing in
son?
between keys.
I know it. So I'm putting you in between C and E.
That's what I think.
That'll handle D.
That'll have to do.
It was a sunny Sunday afternoon, and Miss Dolly was having a barbecue. And you ain't playing the chords right. And I just happened to be leisurely strolling by.
My, what a strolling guy.
She hollered, "Hey, Mel."
Who said he didn't stutter when he
"Hey, Mel, come in and have a taste. This stuff's too good to go to waste. You ain't tried nothing till you tried this sauce of mine."
Hey, Hoss is sauce is boss.
Did I suggest this?
I ain't too old to cut the mustard. I'm just too tired to spread it around. So I got to turn some potato and barbecue down, 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 down. So leave me alone. I'm going home to the best home cooking in town. Yeah, I ain't too old to cut the mustard, just too tired to spread it around, around. Too tired to spread it around.
That's cute.
That's cute.
Well,
Now, let's talk about something that's a literal fact.
Sex?
Sex.
Well,
I mean, I like to lean back on my laurels.
Well, I'd like to
you
go.
say you were talking about what did you like when you was
wasn't a fact?
25. What do you like about being 60? How about that? That's
Who,
a good
me?
question. Any of you, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'd
Yeah,
like,
Jimmy.
Well, I'm the only one
Me?
that's just
Yeah,
60.
well, what do you like about...
They don't expect a lot out of you.
I fought so hard, man. I went at this business like you was killing snakes, you know?
Mhm.
I mean, I went at it, and I've been, extremely fortunate. And I think the thing is now that I never really took time to enjoy it.
you're talking about sex.
No,
Oh, I thought we was talking about.
no, we're because monetary funds is what it is. But now I do enjoy it.
That's
And-
old man sex,
That's-
monetary funds.
Yeah, that's one way.
Yeah.
It's expensive, but it's a way.
Yeah. Them
But I
little
think
stores
that's
got
it.
weird stuff.
I enjoy life more now. I really do, and I feel good, and everything's functional. So that's good.
Well, I know where you're coming from because Bobby and I just worked Silver Springs together, and I was out there. We were out there doing a couple of his songs off his album, and I was standing there thinking, I can remember 30 years ago when I'd hit that stage, it was really, like you were saying, I was grinding. And I can't remember a lot of those shows, and now it ain't even a show. It's just getting out there and visiting with the folks and having fun and not worried about my belly sticking out over my belt anymore. Who cares? And it's not really work.
Ernie Ford and I were talking about that, and he put it the best I've ever heard it. He said, "I just ran scared all my life," and I love when you pull bowls in West Texas for 50 cents 100, your mind will flip back to that, and it's nice to know and get to the point where you don't have to run scared anymore.
Yeah.
Great line I heard about him the other day.
But I picked a lot of strawberries.
Well, I know what
Many
you're
of
talking
them
about.
in the
Picking
same
cotton.
cotton fields.
The same cotton field, huh?
Yeah, he's from Plainview,
And you
Texas.
turned it over to me in the
Oh, you're
cotton
from
mill.
Lubbock,
That's where I was
45 minutes
spinning
from
room.
Littlefield, Texas, where I'm from.
Oh.
This fella, we were having breakfast the other morning. He gave me a line, and Bobby said, they were out somewhere out west, and this guy walked up to Bobby and said, "Hoss, you been doing this a long time, ain't you?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, when are you going to retire?" And Bobby said, "From what?" Is that a great line? From what?
He's the only guy that'll show up at a show with 20,000 people and look around and say, "Has anybody got a guitar?"
Yeah.
Well, if they don't have a guitar, I'm in the wrong place.
But no, you ever think about bringing your own?
Every now and then,
Yeah. I gave you a fine Martin 12-string.
somebody stole it in Germany.
Yeah, that's the way a lot
If
of
there
people
was
thought about them. They wasn't very
ever
good.
a perfect case of that old country thing. It says, I never got in a hurry but one time in my life, and that time I stayed all night. That's bear. That's bear right there.
Well, you know the old saying, if you take care of yourself, stay healthy, and if you live long enough, you'll get old.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
And
Phil Harris said if I'd known I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself.
I don't think I would have.
Huh?
I think I would have just done exactly what I did.
I just wish I could still do it.
And I'll tell
Bill,
you.
you remember the time that you and I was in Orlando, and we had done a show down there, and we was on our way home, and we started to leave, I think, and it snowed. It came one hell of a snowstorm.
In Orlando?
And we checked in Holiday Inn, and we called our wives, and they said, "You're lying. It doesn't snow in Florida."
I didn't believe it.
And we'd like to not have ever convinced them that it was snowing. We were there about 2 or 3 days, wasn't we?
Yeah, it was cold. It's the coldest I remember in Florida.
Sure was.
That sounded a little weak to me, too, don't it?
Yeah, I know it sounds weak, but that was
I'll still try. I'll try.
that was poignant.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what.
Poignant?
I'll tell you what. Getting old ain't for sissies. Getting old ain't for sissies. It's tough.
I still like Maurice Chevalier's line said when somebody said, "How do you feel about old age?" And he said, "Well, it's not too bad when you consider the alternative."
I consider the alternative,
Yeah.
and that's tough too.
You know what I find? It's you know, and I'm in good shape. I stay in good shape, you know. But I get
are like navels. Everybody's got one. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I thought it was assholes.
you know, I love the garden.
Yeah.
You know, I love the garden, and I get out in my garden. If I spend a day out there, or maybe a half a day or something, you're bending over doing this, and that night, man, I'm just hurt all over. I mean, just ache, and that's what one of the things that I noticed about getting old. That
I've used that a lot, too. You know,
Well,
they'll go on to sleep, won't bother you no more.
I like it, Brandon.
Of course, you're going to take me to the house now.
Yeah. Would you bring my cane? I'm going to the house.
Yeah.
Melvin told me that he could do it 7 times a night. Said he could get it up and do it 7 times a night. Now, do you believe that?
No.
I don't either.
Did you?
Whatever you do 7 times.
He can't even answer you now.
See, you don't even remember telling me that. It's like that drunk standing alongside the way, and he just took a leak and forgot to put it away, and the kid run up to him and said, "Mister, says, your thing's sticking out." And the guy looked at the kid and said, "It may be hanging out, but it damn sure ain't sticking out."
You know,
Where's my cane? Give me my walker.
this reminds me of I shouldn't say it's Barbara Bush's favorite story. She says to me, "Jimmy, that's funny." She told me about this. That's funny. A lot of things you say is not that funny. Because George and I tell stories all the time. But about the old couple that went to take their annual physical, he's 93 and she's 90. The old man goes in first. Doctor examines him and says, "My God, you're phenomenal. Heart, liver, lungs, reflexes, blood pressure, eyesight, got most of your hair and teeth." Said, "To what do you attribute this wonderful physical condition?" He says, "Well, the good Lord's just always been wonderful to me. All these years. Even now, I get up at night to go to the bathroom, and the good Lord turns on the light, and when I come out, he turns off the light. Ain't that nice?" Doctor says, "Oh, yeah, that's really neat." Now, the old lady goes in, and the doctor said, "Ma'am, your husband, physically, is as sound as a dollar, but we think he has some kind of a little mental quirk. Don't think there's anything to worry about, but, well, he told me that when he gets up at night to go to the bathroom, the good Lord turns on the light, and when he comes out, the good Lord turns off the light." She says, "Oh, Lordy, Henry's peeing in the refrigerator again."
Let me tell you something.